Still on security issue, the Northeast Governors Forum had a meeting on Saturday in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. And this leads us to our discussion tonight on the program, as we have in the studio the former Inspector General Police and the immediate past Chairman Police Service Commission, Dr. Mike Mbama Okiro. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
You have seen some of the track-ups that we took, from election insecurity in Edo State down to insecurity in some part of the country. But let me just start with the general security question in Nigeria. The killings in southern Kaduna, the south-south is not also too safe. People cannot travel by road. As a former Inspector General, please, what do you think should be done at this time to safeguard our nation and state, even our highways?
A lot got to be done. Nigeria, we are passing through a stage. We are passing through a stage of insecurity, which many advanced countries have passed through. What you need to do is get back to the drawing board, find out what are the causes of this insecurity, how can we tackle them. If this is done, you now know the problem, you can venture a solution. Nigeria, we have a lot of problems right now. So many areas. One, the invasion by foreigners under the cloak of herdsmen. We have also unemployment by youths. People who are going to university, some of them come out, they have no job, and the society and their families expect a lot from them. So some who are prone to crime, we take to crime to survive. I remember in those days we were reading sociology, Emil Bonga said that is what they call economic crime. That's the people who are forced to crime because of economic situations. And he ended up by saying crime is the reaction of a man with his back on the ground. If somebody is disposed to crime, has criminogenic agency in him, he has no job, he has no means of livelihood, he goes to crime. So these are the areas and causes of escalation of criminality in Nigeria. The issue of herdsmen, like I said earlier on, they're moving down south in search of grass and grazing opportunity for their cattle, and they feel that they have a right. They have a right for living for themselves and for their cattle. So they go all out to attack and to kill, to maim anybody who stops them. Unfortunately, Nigeria has not been able to address this issue adequately. I remember some time ago I was on a television interview like this, and I mentioned the issue of ranching, that herdsmen should not be allowed to move their cattle along the bush or along the road. They should have ranches. These ranches are going to develop our economy. You have a ranch of about, say, 300-400 hectares. You develop it, you bring advanced grass, import some special grass for these cattle that are grown inside the ranches. These ranches, you have markets, you have banks, you have hospitals, you have vet hospitals, you have human hospitals in these ranches. They grow these animals, they feed them very well, they produce better milk, they produce better meat. People live there. Sometimes have schools there, in the ranches. It's not difficult. All you don't need, businessmen can make this proposal to government or to banks, and banks give a loan, and some government can donate land for them. They build ranches, and they live inside the ranches. And within that TV discussion, I asked a question. I asked the presenter, each of us, after this presentation, I go to my house, eat. rest, sleep, wake up, rest, eat and sleep. You trek from here to Gwagwalada. By the time you reach Gwagwalada, you feel hungry, you eat. You keep on trekking to Kogi State. After 2 weeks or 1 month, look at both of us, how we look. Of course, you look very skinny. That is how our cattle look like. Because our cattle keep trekking in the fields. They're beaten by such a fly, mosquito, snakes. They cannot be as healthy and cannot produce as much meat and milk as those cattle that are grown in ranches. So I advocated this idea of having ranches, which not cost government anything. Because of separate these ranches, businessmen go to banks and get loan and build ranches.
So you feel that that would have solved the problem of
It is solved the problem of these frequent uncontrollable clashes between herdsmen and farmers. Because the farmers have a right to their farms. Some of them inherit these farms from their parents. Some of them buy this land and have their farms. It's unfair, humanly unfair, for cattle herdsmen to drive the cattle to the farms. So these ranches will solve this problem. The farmers will feel happy, the herdsmen will feel happy. That's the aspect of herdsmen.
But you are aware that that's what they're suffering in southern Kaduna. And as it stands now, you saw them asking that they want their states. They do not want to remain in Kaduna State. Would that solve the problem?
That will solve the problem. Or maybe it will solve the problem, depends. If you have, they are opting for their own state. If they have their own state, their own governor, the government come up with a policy.
That's true.
That those herdsmen should not pass to the place. So maybe they feel that's the solution. But the national solution, what I just said, it doesn't really matter which state. If the cattle herdsmen are banned from moving their cattle to bushes and farms, the problem will be settled once and for all with the matter the state.
So now let's well, if talking about security issues in Nigeria, it's not just the issue of the herdsmen. We also saw an alarm raised by the U.S. where they said herdsmen, Al-Qaeda is coming into southern part of Nigeria, and Nigeria needs to be careful. That alarm, a lot of persons have been saying, what do? We said it before, just like you were saying, you talked about the ranch. If they had done ranching, this wouldn't have happened. You also talk about invasion by foreigners. Can there be a solution to clear this invasion, purported invasion by foreigners? Just the first statement you made.
Yeah, in the issue of foreign invasion, you cannot say you want to propose a solution for it to stop them from coming. With the foreign invasion, they have their underlying factors. Either they want to dominate their country and enforce their government or their religion or their belief and their support. So you cannot really make a national policy to stop them. All you can do is to use intelligence. Find out how people come into Nigeria. I've given an example of these herdsmen. Some of them come from outside Nigeria. We don't know how they pass through. We don't know what are the intentions. It's possible they could be used by these foreign powers, foreign bodies, don't infiltrate and cause problems in Nigeria. They could be used because when they're passing through the forest, you and I will not be in the forest to check them. And they infiltrate Nigeria. So what I'm talking about is intelligence. The military, the political agencies, they serve intelligence and find out if the people are coming to Nigeria and stop them before they come in. Because when they come in and start problem within Nigeria, it becomes internal. You have problem in the northeast, which is a thorn in the flesh of the country, our military and security agencies. The same thing was affecting the Northwest. So if that is allowed to go to the South, they were a real problem in the country.
Now, as a former IG, you have been in the police force for a while. You retired, became the chairman of the Police Service Commission. We have seen brutality by police in some parts of the country, even everywhere, not just some part of the country. And we have seen corruption on the highway. And people kept saying the police are nowhere cared for. Can we just take a look at the police reform?
Yeah, I remember when I was Special Police, started the police reform. And it was going on until I left service. Unfortunately, people after me did not take it as serious as I took it. I thought it was a crazy baby. And what happened was that what I call police assault in Nigeria. Somebody starts something, his successor pushes it aside, either it feels it's of low value, or it doesn't want to project the image and honor and legacy of its predecessor. So it shows aside and starts something new. Otherwise, I started this police reform, and it moved on fine until I left office. I'm happy that talking about it once in a while. They feel that the police reform is something that cannot be avoided. It is necessary and an imminent aspect of policing the country. Police reform gives a totality of changing the paradigm shift in policing Nigeria, both on the part of the policemen, police officers, and even the members of the public. Because there can never be any effective police if they have cooperation on the members of the public. Members of the public should be able to give information to the police. Members of the public should be able to assist. Sometimes the police can be in difficulty, and you need members of the public to come to the aid of the police, not as much as the police come to the aid of members of the public. Because on the long run, the police is working for the members of the public. So there should be a synergy between the police and the public. And also the police and the public will realize that the police is working for them. If the police is equipped, the police will work better. If the police is not equipped, the police can never be effective in the society. And I always say that the police officer is hired to provide security for the people. It is duty to do that. But if, for example, as a DPO, I was a DPO before, as a DPO, there's very high crime wave in your division. The commissioner will call you to order. And if it's beyond the control, he may change you.
Okay.
And put another DPO. But then, the actual people who suffer are the members of the public. You know, as much as the DPO can say, sorry, I don't have this. If there's robbery going on, for example, you call the DPO. There's robbery going on in an AIT office. If you have no vehicle to go to send their people, even no men now, because I found even now, policemen, the division don't have enough manpower. That's the police they can do. I think we are coming. It takes him 1 hour, 2 hours to mobilize. By the time it comes, the harm has been done. So the point I'm trying to make is that there should be complete symbiotic relationship between the police and members of the public. The government has a role to play, major role. That's why I put that reform being basically on the table of government. Members of the public cannot buy, some of them do donate vehicles to the police, but cannot give all. The government is the one that should do that. Now, I asked about collecting of money roadblock. That is absolutely wrong. The police officer collecting money on the roadblock is a crime, it's bribery. And the police officers are employed to control crime, to minimize and stop crime. So I cannot see somebody doing what he was asked to stop doing. You know, it's employed to stop crime. He cannot be involved in committing crime himself. But then, look at it that way. It takes two to tango. The man who commits offense by creating bribe and the man who even offers. Before the law, both of them are guilty.
Oh.
So, when I was inspector of police, I look at this and I called the lecture of my men. And I told them, you should not collect bribe. If anybody offers you bribe, arrest that person. And that week, 10 people were arrested at City Gate. And I prosecuted them in public. I said, offered bribe. It stopped. It couldn't stop completely, but it was hardly minimized.
Okay. Now that would not take me to money politics. During election, we have seen in the last Edo election, there were some videos where even the security officials were caught on camera trying to give out money to engage in vote buying and selling. And we are going into another election now. We have 2 elections in Nigeria now, off-season elections. The fear is that on that day, they will still sell votes. And the security officers will be there looking at them, collecting money and exchanging money. How do we stop electoral crime before we go into other matters?
That is quite unfortunate. I think our politicians have a major role to play in ensuring that such crimes are not committed in police stations or polling booths on election day. I saw this video myself, and I felt embarrassed because I don't know what they're trying to protect outside the world. United Nations and international observers who are going to observe elections and write reports on elections, to see people collecting money, buying votes right on the spot on police stations. But the danger there is that police is handicapped.
How?
Yes. The electoral law made the presiding officer the king of the polling booth. The king is that the presiding officer is in charge of the police polling unit. The police officer's duty is to provide security. If any crime is committed in a police station, it is the presiding officer who will say, arrest this person.
Really?
Yes. If the police decide to, well, our law is very clear to the police. The policeman is bound to arrest any crime committed in his presence, whether or not is invoked to do so.
Or not. That's exactly where I was going to.
But then, he can tell not to do that.
Because, it will not be
because, now let me tell you why he may tell not to do that. A policeman, like I said earlier on, is supposed to arrest any offender with offense in presence. If a policeman closes from work and is going home and sees somebody drive against one way, that's an offense. But can he if I go and arrest somebody going one way? It means he can't reach home. But by the time I arrest that dog going one way to the police station, as he goes back, he's another person.
So you keep arresting?
You keep on arresting. So the point I'm trying to make that in as much as you are bound to arrest an offender with a crime committed in your presence, you may not arrest all.
You may decide to just keep quiet.
You may decide to keep quiet. If the president officer who is supposed to tell you, arrest people, don't tell you to do so.
So the police officer cannot be held responsible if he decides not to arrest
at all.
Anybody that's committing offense.
The police officer his duty is to provide security at the police unit, not to enforce law at the police unit. It's very, very clear. The electoral law says the presiding officer is in charge. He detects what will be done at the polling unit. And assuming there's only one police officer on duty at the polling unit, somebody commits an offense, and they decide to take him to the police station. But there's nobody at the police unit.
So does it mean that all that we have seen before in previous elections, where you see police officers harassing people at the polling unit, they were actually doing the wrong thing?
No, that's wrong. Like this is a liberty.
At liberty to do
or
it.
not to do.
But when the presiding officer, who you said is in charge,
yes.
asks the police officer, leave the person, and the police officer says no, decides not to.
They can do so.
Then that police officer is committing a crime.
No. If a police officer arrests somebody committing an offense, and the police officer says leave him, the police officer will okay. I may insist, say it's a police offense, I'm taking him.
Okay, security offense.
Yes.
Not electoral offenses.
No.
But on election day, most of the offenses committed are electoral offenses.
It depends on what you do. If you go to the police unit and start fighting somebody, that's not an electoral offense, but it's an offense. It's a crime. If you start fighting, beat up somebody, it's not an electoral offense, but an offense. And the police can arrest you if you go there and slap the presiding officer. It's not an electoral offense. But the offense committed the presence of a police officer. Can arrest the person for assault and take him to the police station if he likes.
Okay. All right. We'll need to go for a short break. When we come, we'll continue with security in our elections. We'll begin with the report that has been making the round. So much controversy between the PDP and the APC over the statement of one of the leaders of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the national leader of the ruling party. Let me just take some line of the statement. That's the former Lagos State Governor, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has spoken on the crisis in Edo State, and as the Edo State House of Assembly, where a group of 12 people and 5 members claim to have impeached the Speaker and his deputy and elected new officers in their place. What he is saying is that this is a cowardly act and a move to thwart representatives' democracy in Edo. And he went further to give some point. In defiance of constitutional democracy, he went further to say the recent action by the governor of Edo State represents gravest possible assault on constitutional democracy and the rule of law and escalation of violence and tension in the state. He purports to govern. Now, not satisfied with making a mockery of our constitution by blocking the timely inauguration of 2/3 of the elected members of the Edo State House of Assembly, Obaseki has now resorted to the strong-arm tactics of dictators. That's what Tinubu wrote in that paper. It said first he sponsored hoodlums to defend, indeed destroy parts of the House of Assembly building in Benin. Faming the building is under renovation, then he imports and send gravels to prevent access to the assembly complex. And in efforts, the man has spent state fund to thwart the very apparatus of state government he was sworn to uphold. That's how the former Lagos State Governor, as well as the leader of the APC, that's how he put that letter. We don't need to take the letter too much because it's a very long one. But there are reactions. The former chairman of PDP in Edo State and now leader of the PDP South-South, and also the state chairman of the campaign council, Danobi, has replied him, as well as the deputy governor of the state, who is already shouting that his life is under threat. Let's listen to them. We'll be back. When we come back, we still return to the studio. Stay with us.
I'm sure you are already abreast with the events in the state in the past 72 hours. But of particular interest is the statement released by Asiwaju Bola Tinubu yesterday, accusing the governor of committing impeachable offenses. Well, let me say this. I want to use this opportunity to call on Asiwaju Bola Tinubu to leave Edo State alone. Governor Obaseki is not a dictator. In actual fact, if you want to look at the politics of southwest Nigeria, the only person that can rightly be referred to as a dictator is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. I also want to state here that his style of politics in the southwest is not attractive to Edo people. It doesn't make any sense for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu to sit down in the comfort of his home, drawing up impeachable drawing up grounds for impeachment for the elected governor of Edo State. Reading through his statement, I've come to a conclusion that certainly is not aware of the issues concerning the unfortunate incident at the State House of Assembly.
All right, we also told you that the deputy governor is already raising the alarm. It says his life is in danger.
To the notice of Edo people and also to the entire country that we have intelligence that some individuals are in Edo State, courtesy of former national chairman of APC. And the names of these individuals and their mode of entry and every other thing are communicated to the security agencies, and they have the information. And their assignment is to come and assassinate some known individuals in the state. So I'm hereby bringing to the notice of the general public that these people are in town, and we've communicated to the security agencies about the activities and why they are in town. And also to use this medium to call on Mr. President to also call the security to do their work. Because Edo people, and Edo is not going to be a theater of war if these things are dealt with. And for us, we will continue to appeal to our people not to look for trouble, not to disrupt any program. We are law-abiding. We have the duty to protect lives and property. That we will continue to do. But just to bring to the entire nation and the people of Edo State of the intention of this individual.
Philip Shaibu there, the deputy governor of Edo State, raising the alarm that there are plans by some persons. He is alleging that they have penciled down leaders of his party and supporters of the incumbent governor to go to the slaughterhouse. Now, we still have in the studio the former IG of Police who will take a look, want him to take a look at that situation. You just heard the Edo State Deputy Governor raising this very, very strong alarm. And we, the media, will call it allegations, but they know where they are getting their information from. If an election that is a civil exercise will go this way, how can they guarantee peace? INEC is saying if the election would not be peaceful, they will postpone it.
Yeah. If we have to borrow a leaf from what INEC said, that the evidences of impending insecurity in Edo State because of the election. Well, from what we've seen, INEC seems to be right because it's tending toward that way. But we cannot say because we think there's insecurity, therefore there'll be no election. And the constitution is very clear when the current government will terminate. The election in Edo State is just one, only election throughout Nigeria. It's not like a situation where you have election in 36 states, where the police be so so pressed that they may not be able to afford security in the 36 states. But now it's only one state. I don't think the insecurity in Edo is beyond the control. No matter how difficult the things are for the police, electoral offenses, electoral job, electoral operation, it's only for one state out of 30 states in Nigeria. So they can handle it.
Police can handle it?
Yes, I'm so sure.
Okay, now that takes me to the issue of federal might. That's the fear that a lot of people are afraid when it comes to elections in Nigeria. Not just Edo, even in Ondo, they are thinking that because there's a candidate from the party that is in the federal government, and the two major political parties are the parties that are causing this tension in the state. So what they are afraid of is that the federal government will usurp authority and send police to work for the other side. So is it possible for police to become neutral in this game? Like
to me, that sounds very prosperous, because Edo is a state in Nigeria. The contestants are Nigerians from Edo State. And the federal government is for whole Nigeria. The president is the president for the whole Nigeria, not president for 36, 35 states, excluding Edo State. So the president is bound to provide security for all the states, for everybody in Nigeria, through the IG. So the president cannot instruct the IG to encourage mayhem or to encourage injustice or to take sides. The police are not bound to take sides. They are bound to do the proper things. And I know Inspector of Police at the moment. He worked directly under me when I was IG. I know capabilities. I know his philosophy. And I've talked with him a couple of times. I asked the questions. I know he's going to do the right thing.
But you saw what happened in Kogi State, in Bayelsa, and other states. The president also gave a marching order on Friday when they went to visit him, that there will not be a repeat of Zamfara, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Kogi.
Okay.
Okay, I think he didn't mention Kogi, but
Okay,
Zamfara, Bayelsa, and Rivers.
Okay.
He does not want a repeat.
Okay.
That one has to do with both law and also security.
Okay. You realize also that the governor of,
the chief security.
of Bayelsa,
yes.
the governor of Bayelsa is PDP.
Okay.
The governor of Rivers is PDP.
And the governor of Zamfara.
Though at the time they have that election for Rivers, it was a general election. But that of Bayelsa was exclusively for Bayelsa. We have a PDP governor there today, not APC. The fact that the president came in under the umbrella of a political party does not mean he wants everybody in Nigeria to belong to his political party. As a member of the party, he can go and campaign, talk on behalf of the party. I don't think he's going to tell regional police to bend towards a party. And the commissioner of police, the inspector of police cannot. Yes, sir. Well, talking from the moment I work on them is closer. It's saw how I behave in certain situations.
Yes.
So situations I have to go to tell the president, sir, this order he gave me is not constitutional. I may not obey it. Privately. They don't say it in open. Ask me if I give reasons. Okay, go and do the right thing. I'm not them for that. If the president gives him an instruction, another, he can go to him and get it corrected.
So he has that character.
Yes. I don't think the president, naturally as a member of APC, he would like to have his party, but not by hook or crook.
Okay.
He not either take it or nobody takes it. So you know the prayer for who is. If APC wins, good. If PDP wins, good.
So you feel that busybodies are the ones doing whatever?
Let the right person win this election in Edo State. Other people, other politicians, sometimes they make noise. APC will accuse PDP, PDP accuse. End of the day, now who is right, who is wrong? APC is accusing PDP, PDP is accusing APC. They're not accusing other small parties. At the end of the day, somebody must win. If somebody wins, and ensure that there's good governance for the people.
All right, now I would like to hear your advice, not just for the Edo, there's also election in Ondo, and also Nigerians generally on security issues, because the complaint now is even the roads people are scared to travel by roads, and a lot of people may not even travel for their elections, Ondo and Edo, because of the fear of going through the roads, kidnapping and all that, and they're attacked by. So what would be your advice so that we can sign off with that? Yeah,
in actual fact, I agree with you. There's a lot of insecurity on the roads. Yeah, because like these herdsmen, they're armed to the teeth, and they attack vehicles. And you may not know until when you arrest them, you know where they come from. But there's something that happened when I was at IG that made me come to this conclusion. That some of these people who attack vehicles are not Nigerians. A vehicle, a luxury bus, was traveling from east to Maiduguri. They passed between Yobe and Borno State. This armed bandits opened fire on the luxurious bus. On the moving vehicle.
Right.
I said, if they're Nigerian, they must say, these vehicles, maybe my sister
or
my
my
mother, my brother, or my friend, or somebody I know must be inside.
So what should be done now?
They open fire on the moving vehicle. That shows that they have no relationship at all with Nigeria.
With Nigerians.
Because if you have the open fire on the moving vehicle. So I can say later on, you have to get intelligence and get people arrested and controlled. That is one. The other advice to Nigerians asked. Nigerians should realize that, one, the police is their own police force. We don't have any British man, American, any national in our police force. The last time our police officers was 64. The Nigerian police took over, and everybody from the constable to the IG is a Nigerian. So they should look at Nigerian police as their own police force, not other people's police force.
All right. Okay. Well, that's the much we can take. I do hope that we'll have you again some other time. But that time it will not be this late. We'll have you live again in the studio.
And enough time.
And enough time.
I didn't have enough time to say what I want to say.
I know. Well, I'd like to say thank you very much for this short time that we have. The next time you're coming, we're going to have enough time for you to speak with us. Well, we've been talking with the former Inspector General of Police and the immediate past Chairman, Police Service Commission, Dr. Mike Mbama Okiro. Thank you very much for coming on the show. But that's the much we can take on the program tonight. Remember to join us tomorrow at 10 p.m. for another episode of the program. Until we return, good night.